What's up, guys? Eric here. So we're gonna get into this workshop number 9. Um, it's gonna be really, really quick because I don't have any trades reviewed that I took today myself. We'll touch on a little bit of the alerts throughout the day that went off because the market, ended terribly today, September 14th. But what we'll do is cover some of the alerts that went off because even though the market did terrible as a whole, there were still some good alerts that had some opportunity in there for you to make money. So if you made those trades today, great, congrats to you. It's always good when you're doing better than the market. I say that's how you want to measure your success. Um, so we'll just kind of touch on those for a little bit, but I'll briefly go over in this workshop some of the resources that I use to help me find catalyst, um, to trade as far as stocks, like social media. Basically, it's going to be centered around that because catalysts can come from all types of directions. Social media is definitely one of the big influence when you're momentum trading. So obviously, if a lot of traders are talking about it, that means that that stock is typically gaining momentum. And what we're going to do here is kind of go over my top 5 resources that I use for social media wise, to be able to, determine if it's going to be a catalyst for me to want to trade the stock. So you kind of get some insight on that. Again, it's not a make all break all kind of thing. It just helps, give me another tool in the tool belt to decide if I'm going to, take a trade on the stock or not by seeing if other traders are talking about it, and help me kind of gain the overall market sentiment of it. Okay, so we're going to deep dive into that just for like a few minutes, touch on some of the alerts, and we'll wrap this up. Hopefully tomorrow's a better day. Um, you know, Again, you don't have to trade every day. Today I didn't trade. Just let the market cool off. Sometimes the guys will pull back. Today's just one of those days. So there's nothing wrong with sitting on your hands. If the trade's not there, don't force it. Let the trade come to you guys. And that's why, in the meantime, if you're not making a trade, go ahead and study. Don't worry about missing something out. If you don't see the trade, you don't see the trade. That's just how it goes, okay? So let's get into this part of the workshop and get going, all right? Stay green. Yes, sir. Let's dive right into it, guys. All right. So what we're going to do here first is go over the workshop. We're going to touch on the social media, resources that I think will help you out with, being able to identify catalysts of stocks that might, trade pretty good. And then we're going to touch on some of the alerts and wrap it up. So this workshop, like I said before in the intro video, should be very quick, precise, straight to the point. I'm not going to go into detail, but at least you're going to have this information. Okay. So again, what we're going to touch on in the workshop here today is catalysts to help stocks, move with momentum because it's drawing more buyers, drawing more investors, drawing more traders into the stock. Typically, when you have catalysts, it could be a number of different things. It could be, news articles. It can be something being mentioned on CNBC. It's a lot of things that could cause the stock to run. One of the most, newly exposed things is social media. Um, Not only that, but also, chat rooms, kind of the same thing. Social media chat rooms, pretty much generally where it gets a lot of people talking and typing about a certain stock or a ticker. Now, there's a bunch of different places to go to be able to find out this information. Um, I'm going to touch on the ones that, like I said, are most popular, most common that I use as well. But there's plenty of them more out there. These are just probably some of the more well-known, common ones amongst traders. So if you're new, and you don't know anything, but you want to figure out, hey, what stocks are most people talking about? These are some good resources to check to be able to find that out because the more that people are talking about a stock, the more it's likely to run or pretty much just bring attention to it to be, moving. And that's what we want. We don't want stocks that sit around and do nothing all day. We want stocks that are moving with momentum, whether it's up or down, because you could be, a bullish or a bearish trader, whichever one you prefer. But either way it goes, you want that stock moving. When there's movement, there's money. All right. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about the first resource. One of the most popular ones, of course, is Twitter. Um, you know, many traders on there. And of course, I kind of give you a list of good traders to follow. I'm not going to go through all that here today, but just know that Twitter is a popular source to be able to look and see what stocks other traders are looking at. You just want to make sure you're following good traders. It's also good to follow like good news sources. If you're trading like things like penny stocks, it might be good to follow some of those pump and dump places. So many, ways you can do that. But yeah, Twitter is a good place to find out what traders are looking at. Because typically, let's say if you have a very popular trader who has a lot of followers, whatever they're looking at, more likely their followers are looking at. So that's going to gain a lot of momentum and a lot of traction. Okay, pretty simple there. Another good source to get information from is going to be one of the newly popular things is Wall Street Bets with Reddit. Now, pretty much to pull that up there, you're gonna go to reddit.com and you're gonna type in Wall Street bets. And it's crazy how, much this community has grown in the last few months or so. Make sure you're following the one that's 10 million followers. Before, when I was in it, it was only like 1 million or something like that. Obviously, with the whole GameStop thing and AMC stuff, it's grown tremendously. And of course, now Wall Street's watching and all that good stuff. But it's still a good place to go to see what people are talking about um, during pretty much all this here. So that's something to keep in mind. All right. So Wall Street bets on Reddit. Another good place to go is probably underrated is Weibo Comments. Okay. Um, so if you're doing it on mobile, it's probably a little bit different. But let me show you how to pull up the widget to be able to get the comments. Pretty much you're gonna hit the little widget plus button up there. I believe it's under stocks, and you're gonna look at comments. Now, like I showed you guys in another workshop, you want to make sure that this comments box is linked to the set group that you're going to be looking at trades for. Okay, so like if I'm trading IC, I'm going to make sure that in this, under number one, I'm going to make sure that this is under number one too, set as the group so that it matches. Now watch this. Let's say if I go to Microsoft, let's do that. I'm just picking some random stocks. Then the comment section will trade, and it'll kind of give you a little good sentiment of what other traders are saying about it, so you can kind of gauge that. If there's a lot of comments flying in on this thing, that means it's starting to pick up traction amongst other traders. If not, just means it's just being looked at. Oh, Microsoft did pretty good today. Look at that. Well, anyways, that's the comment section of Webull, which is another place where a lot of traders are putting you know their attention to when the stock is moving pretty well. Okay. um, and another one that I want you guys to look at too is Thinkorswim. Believe it or not, um, Thinkorswim has a chat room. Let me pull this up here so we can see it here. Thinkorswim has a chat room. If you click right here in the top right hand corner, and there's different chats you can follow. Not many traders be in there, but it's still just a place to kind of look and see what people are talking about. So that's pretty cool. Um, you can kind of keep that as a option as well too. The number one, pretty much, I would say probably overall source that most traders use that are actually traders, aside from these, would probably be this one, StockTwits. It's kind of like a combination of Twitter and the stock market. But there are many, many, many traders here all the time. Whenever you're typing in a stock, you can easily see what traders are saying about it. And fair warning, fair disclosure to you guys, these comments and stuff like that, a lot of it's noise. Um, you'll see like things like, "Oh, join our Discord," blah blah blah. Get these alerts. We alerted a long time ago. Oh, no, and they'll get their little opinion whether they think it's bullish or whether it's bearish. Don't let that sway your judgment as far as doing your trading strategy, but just to kind of help you get a little sentiment of where traders might be at, just to kind of get a glance. Doesn't even be nothing you need to weigh a lot in on, but you see there's a lot of spam and a lot of junk um, memes and some stuff. Some stuff do be funny. It'd be people there promoting their stuff like, oh, join our Discord, or sign up for our news service, sign up for our alerts. We found it first, blah blah blah. Like any of that makes a difference. But anyways, um, yeah, that's pretty much where a lot of comments and stuff like that. I would say this is probably one of the main points that a lot of people go to get information about what stocks people might be looking at. I mean, aside from these, these are like a good top five to start out with. Like I said, if you're a beginning trader, and all these are free, guys. These are not nothing you pay for. The chat room, that's with Thinkorswim. This right here, sign up is free. Weibo Comments are free with your Weibo account, which is free to have. Reddit's obviously free, and Twitter, of course, is free. So all this stuff is just free. It's just kind of another source for you to gather information about what the traders might be saying about a stock. Okay. Um, so keep that in mind. Now there are things like certain traders might have discords. Like if you might trade options and stuff like that, you might hear traders talk about Discord. Even TradingView has, I think, a chat room or like a community. Which, let me go over there because we're about to get into that right now since we're going to review these trades. But yeah, there's like a community. We can talk about certain things. um, throughout TradingView. So that's another good source as well too to get traders, idea on it, et cetera, et cetera. There's a whole bunch of different ways, but chat rooms and stuff like that is endless. Obviously, I'm not going to be biased to our chat room, but I'm just saying that there's sources that are there. I like to keep our chat room small anyway because I don't like to hear a lot of that nonsense anyways. But that's just pretty much for you guys to kind of have. Again, me personally, I don't utilize the chat rooms of other places, or Twitter and stuff like that to make a big influence on my decision on whether or not to trade a stock. But it does help me decide, like, oh, let's say if I'm already in the stock, I might take a glance at it, pull it up on Twitter, type in the ticker symbol and like the little search engine, or type it in up on Wall Street Bets and see if there's anything being mentioned about it. If someone's trying to pump it, and you'll know that by like what they're saying. Like they might say, "Oh, buy this stock," blah blah blah, or just kind of get a glance on the language around the stock to see what's happening. To kind of just help me feel a little bit more better about the trade that I'm in, or if I need to kind of get out of it because people are going to try to dump it and things like that. So again, just another resource for you to have in the toolbox for you. So keep that handy. Now let's go ahead and get into the recap of these trades here that was taken today. Well, I didn't take any trades today. It was, September 14th is very slow today in the market, but there were still some movers, some money to be made. Watch list did pretty much what I planned out for it to be. I just didn't get into it. But let's take a look at these alerts here for today. Today is September 14th. So last night, put out the watch list. I said, hey, life was going to probably run a little bit. Excuse me. That life was probably going to run a little bit. I was thinking, it shows strength in the after hours. So let's watch for the momentum to continue in the pre-market and then just, get rid of it the rest of the day. That was my idea of how the stock was going to play out just because of that. And then I said ATER, with the buy rating from the analyst last week, it seemed to, push the stock up. And then, of course, you got the AI computers coming in and algos, making an effect on the stock. But I expected it to lose steam because, again, you don't want to fall in love with these stocks, guys. You get in, get your money, and get out. Stop trying to nail the top. Stop trying to, get in at the bottom. Get the meat of the move and move on. All right. And I pretty much said, hey, this thing is about to lose steam. And me and the admins were talking about this. I don't really do bearish trades, but I said put it in there anyway because after hours last night, it was a lot of little movement, nothing too, you know, important, but enough for us to say, let's take a look at this trade, give the guy some ideas on, easily writing this one down for shares. Um, and it ended at 1860 at the end of the day of yesterday. Let's take a look at these two first, and then we're going to get into the alerts. Let's see if it played out the way I thought. Okay. Let me move this out the way. So let's start first here with LIFE, life. So let's see, did it move up higher during pre-market? Then did it die during the day? Let's take a look, guys. Let's take a look. Don't call me Nostradamus. But let me pull this up here. Sorry, the thing moves slow. See, this is exactly why I don't trade live because this, stuff lags. All right. Hey, look at this. This looks interesting. So right here, this is after hours yesterday. And this is where I said, guys, it looked good after hours. You may want to get into it and then drop it off at the beginning and drop it off during the day. So here it is, pre-market, trading the way it's trading, kind of just grinding sideways. Um, it wasn't even alerted until it, broke out right before the bell opened. Because you got to remember what I told you guys during the last workshop that even in pre-market, there's certain periods of time in the pre-market that you want to pay attention to, certain hours of when brokerages open up because trades are getting executed. You don't need to sit in pre-market all day unless you're in the trade. You can wake up at certain hours like at 4 a.m. when the market opens. You can get up at like 6:30 to 7 when the other markets are open to allow traders to trade. You got to know when brokerages are open because that is going to cause movement because orders will be executed. Okay, but anyways, that's how it ended, and it just grounded down, wasn't alerted, but you should have been paying attention to it because I put it on the watch list, and then probably was alerted right there. Hey, It broke pre-market high. You want to get in, and this thing continue to rise, set another set another new high, continue to rise. And then what I say after it rose, what is it going to do, guys? It's going to die out. It opened up pre-market, gave you that little false breakout right there, which you shouldn't fall for anyway. That's just pretty much hype from the way it ran yesterday, just dying out. Buyers weren't coming in. I'm pretty sure you could have seen that on level two easily, and then it just continued to die out like I said it would. Obviously, here it's shown, trying to show you strength, but it didn't show enough. It's going to pull back. Trying to show you strength again, didn't show you enough, pulled back. And it kept doing that throughout the rest of the day until it completely flat. So you should have had an easy, either share shorted, or if you're an options trader, maybe did some puts. I think, John said he did a pretty good job with that trade there. So that's great. I mean, you guys are listening. Um, Again, take what I say with a grain of salt. This is just my point of view on the stock as an experienced trader, and I'm hoping that this will help you gain some insight on what to look for. Now, some of you guys might ask, well, how do you know that the stock was going to die out? I mean, look at things like the shares float, look at, the relative strength on it, how much volume has this thing traded? It doesn't normally trade that much as it did yesterday. If yesterday it traded an outstanding amount of volume, you know, obviously it has to die down. What goes up must come down, guys. A lot of traders who are experienced know that, and a lot of them, that's why a lot of them will short stocks because it's much easier to just ride a stock down that's already happened to go up. Me as a momentum trader, I'm a bullish trader. I like to ride stocks that go up, and I stay away from when they're going down. But again, I can trade to the short side if I wanted to, but I don't really like to because the losses are infinite, and I don't know when you know stock is going to go up again. I don't like to fight against trends and things like that. It doesn't help that the fact that this market was bearish today, if you're a bull trader. But if you will listen to what I said on the watch list, you would have been able to expect that. And that's why I sat on my hands today. That's why I didn't have a trade today because I figured things were going to cool down again. Um, Especially, with the Apple event didn't help today. Usually, historically, I've noticed a lot of times that whenever the Apple event is happening, the market will trade sideways or it will just be very, very slow because, Apple's first trillion dollar company, they make a major impact on the market. The big companies do that, guys. You got to keep that in mind too, and you don't really want to fight against the trend. I tell you that in the course all the time. Don't fight against the trends. You ride these waves. You don't fight against them. Okay. But yeah, so I mean, the Apple event coming out, the world's probably just waiting on its toes. And like Michael said in the chat room, guys, normally what happens is Microsoft will pull back from people taking profits on the announcements of the new products, and then it ends up shooting back up. That's just historically how they've done. Obviously, past performance doesn't indicate future results. You should know that. Pretty simple term you should hear in the financial world, but just something to keep in mind. All this stuff, guys, should be help you should be helping you determine the odds of what you're going to trade. Trading is not about an absolute surety. Not one thing is going to solidify a trade. You want to just make sure that all the things, more things are pointing your way than against you. That's the thing, okay? But anyways, that's life. Let's take a look at the next one, um, which was ATER. And what did I tell you guys with ATR? What did I say? I say it out the gate that thing was gonna fall. And what happened? Sorry, let me fix this thing. All right. See, look, and this is why this is like 101. Okay, let me take a step back. What I'm about to say. When you guys are learning about day trading, support and resistance, I'm sure you've seen that a video or that being mentioned literally probably by every trading guru you can think of on the internet. And support and resistance is very important. Um, Not as important as level two because level two would dictate the support and resistance, but support and resistance is very crucial. And you can kind of see that, in pretty much all these trades. Um, like yesterday, ATR has been popular for like the last couple trading days, and it's been going up and going up and going up. It was only a matter of time before the steam let up. Now, let's say if you were in the trade, this right here, this is right here, something indicative of this thing is going to be downtrending, and this is happening during pre-market. Now, mind you, I told you guys last night on the watch list, okay, 9/13, September 13th, I sent out that watch list before this date. Hey, this thing is going to fall down. Look what happened. How did I know that? I could have been wrong. Yes, it's a good chance I could have been wrong, but the fact that this thing has ran up all these days with not much catalyst, but an analyst, rating, bots are tired. I mean, it's just common sense at the point when you're trading so much that you know that this thing is going to fall. And that's exactly what happened. Not one time did it even give you a fake out. This was just a clear ride down. And you can easily determine that this is going to be a clear ride down when you see that a lot of times when the relative strength is up and this is the highest it's going, the moving average is up, this is the highest it's going. Okay, well then it's got to come back down. And it's going to try to go up again. And if you're getting lower highs, or it's kind of staying the same, them bears are going to come in and eat that up, especially when there's availability to do that. And this was an options trade. Some of the stocks that we trade, guys, don't have options available, but the ones that do, you got to understand they're more likely to have the ability to do puts on that stock, which can bring it down more. Okay, and that's just free game. I told people that plenty of times. I wasn't taught that part when I started trading. I didn't even put the two and two together. So when you're trading a stock and you're getting an alert and you're looking at it, keep in mind, is that stock optionable? Then that means that people can put puts on it. Usually when it's a stock that's not optionable and there's no options to be done on it, you can only short shares. It's a good chance that can get squeezed out pretty easily. Okay. Um, so yeah, so just kind of keep that in mind. But let's take a look at some other alerts. As a matter of fact, let's see what the top gainers were today. Because 9 times out of 10, what happens is whatever was a top gainer in the market throughout the day, we've already alerted beforehand before it hit the top. So this is after hours. Obviously, it's not much moving after hours. Um, but let's take a look at what moved today. Life, obviously, that shot up. But let's take a look at JCS. I don't think JCS had much movement. Well, it did actually. It had like 25 million, which was pretty decent. Let's see if we can see if any of these were alert. I think JCS was alerted in pre-market at 995, so that was simple. And NVC was alerted right there. That was what, number 2 on the top gainers list. So all this was told to you in pre-market. You had ample time to look at this stock. Um, so I don't know what to tell you guys, but let's take a look at them real quick. So, and a lot of people will ask this question, well, why don't, I don't need alerts. Why can't I just look at Weibo and wait and, see what's on the top, top alerts of Weibo? You can, that's perfectly fine. But you got to keep in mind, Weibo isn't going to tell you that it's a top gainer until it's a top gainer. By then, we've already alerted that, hey, look at this, volume's coming in. It's about to run. you know? So, and plus with scanners like Weibo and whatnot, when a stock goes up and then comes back down, it's going to fall off of their little scanner list. So you probably won't even be looking at it. You know, again, let's take a look at JCS. Now, what happened here was they announced a special dividend. I might actually look into holding this special dividend. I mean, if you look what they were offering for that special dividend, it was kind of a sweet deal. The only thing is I'm gonna wait until it's closer to the expiration date. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it, guys. Keep doing your research, or go back and look at that 101 video that I talked to you guys about explaining what like dividends and stuff like that is. I do dividend investing too, especially with my long-term trades. But anyways, let's just get in here. I'm going off course. Um, just know that I might actually get into that, hold it for a little bit with my long-term portfolio, and then cash out after the dividends hit. Anyways, so JCS was alerted probably around this spike up here, and it just pretty much stayed kind of flat throughout the whole day. It came back up to test the highs, finally broke towards the end of the day. Depending on your patience here, um, that would have been a pretty decent move. Again, this was a good indicator of how the market was today. Honestly, there wasn't really much going on, but still a good move for you to get in, especially if you're getting in at the right time on pullbacks. Whether you're trading on 5 minute, 10 minute, 1 minute, if you're getting in on the pull downs and buying dips, let them things ride up. I mean, that's great, especially when the VWAP and the EMA cross. Depending on your tolerance and how long you trade, that would have been a great trade for you. So Yeah, I mean, you knew pre-market during pre-market to watch this, especially since not many other stocks moving. You kind of could have just kept this on your radar because nothing else is really going on, honestly. So pretty simple there. It had great value. What was the other one? NNVN or NNVC? Yeah. And I think they had news. Yeah, they completed licensing for coronavirus, which included COVID-19 drug development. Blah blah blah. So let me shrink this up. I don't know why TradingView is doing this. I guess it was like a default setting I must have hit or something like that. But anyways, you were alerted this in pre-market. Ample opportunity to get in and get out. But you were alerted. Hey, look at this stock. You wait for the pullback, ride it up. If you want to wait for the pullback again, ride it up again. Easy, easy money for you. That's a whole dollar move. I mean, you could have made let's say you did 100 shares. I mean, you could have made a whole $100 there. Anyways, why didn't I trade it? I was asleep, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't wake up till like almost a little bit before the bell. And by then, I think I had said in the channel, like, yo, it's too late. I done missed it. I'm not afraid to sit on my hands, and you can't be either as a trader. It's all right that you can miss an opportunity because this is the market. There's going to be ample opportunity. Unless the world plans on blowing up, the market will always be there, guys. Understand that. FOMO is something that we all made up. Gains and stuff like that happen every single day, and there's always another opportunity. All right? Keep that in mind. So with that being said, I'm gonna let you guys go on this video. I gotta wrap it up because I got things to do. But hopefully you found this a little bit helpful. Hopefully you have some tips. Um, I'm not gonna tell you guys to share the video if you can if you want, but I don't like to have too many people bother me. But if you guys who do happen to stumble upon this video have any questions, let me know. Message me. Put them in the comments below. Let me know if these videos are helpful. If they're not, I won't waste my time doing them. Um, in fact, I think what's today? Tuesday, Wednesday. Tomorrow might be my last one for a couple of days because I do have to go travel, hence travel and trading. I gotta go to Michigan in a few days. So Wednesday's gonna be my last one as I get ready to leave for the rest of the week. But again, if you guys need anything, let me know. If these videos are helping you, let me know as well too. I think by end of December or end of September, I'm gonna stop doing these videos for a while because they're just taking up too much of my time. And those of you that are actually trying to learn how to trade, have that course. And then there's also the freaking learning lounge. I mean, I'm giving you every single tool you need to be able to trade, and you have access to myself. So I need to take a break from doing just these little recap videos. Eventually, it get redundant. If I find there's some content I can put out there that might help you out, or if you know of anything that you think I should do a video on, guys, let me know. Message me. I know a few of you already reached out about some other topics. I'm definitely going to put those out there. After September wraps up and the workshops are done, I'll put those videos out there for you guys to have. Um, those will be very, very, very informational. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty of things. So, but yeah, hopefully, like I said, this stuff is helping you guys. And if not, don't worry about it. I won't do anymore. But anyways, you guys take care. Stay green. Let's get ready for tomorrow. Rest up, study up, and we'll get back at it. All right. Take care.